All right, and we are back checking out Batman 83, coming to the conclusion of the Tom King storyline before he jumps over to Batman Catwoman. I am pretty much completely over it, really burned out on the whole thing, but I don't know. I guess somewhere in the back of my mind, I keep thinking that he's going to figure out a way to turn this all around. But I have to say, at this point, I'm not feeling too optimistic about that. There was this latest twist where he seems to be moving the Flashpoint Batman to the position of the real dominant primary antagonist, which doesn't really make a lot of sense given what we've seen so far. But I don't know. Let's press on. Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupations that is known as the children's hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is opened, and voices soft and sweet. From my study, I see in the lamplight, descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra, and Edith with golden hair. A whisper and then a silence, yet I know by their merry eyes they are plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden rush from the stairway, a sudden raid from the hall. By 3 doors left unguarded, they enter my castle wall. They climb up into my turret or the arms and back of my chair. If I try to escape this around me, they seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses, their arms about me entwine, till I think of the Bishop of Bingen in his mouse tower on the Rhine. Do you think, O blue-eyed banditti, because you have scaled the wall, such an old moustache as I am is not a match for you all? I have you fast in my fortress, and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeon and the round tower of my heart. Who is that? Is that my boy Longfellow? I'm pretty sure that's Longfellow. Children's Hour, right? Yeah. I'm looking it up. It is, yeah, okay. I haven't read much of him, but you know, he's cute. He's not my favorite poet. Wondering what the context is here. I'm digging this style that they're using for Batman's cowl here with a lot of like real scritchy, scratchy lines. That's interesting to see. Who is my favorite poet? I don't know if I have one. I've always had a abiding fondness for Wordsworth, I guess. He's the guy who I seem to just keep coming back to. Yeats is another classic, of course. How can I, that girl standing there, my attention fix on Roman or on Russian or on Spanish politics? Yet here's a man that knows what he talks about, and there's a politician that has both read and thought. And maybe what they say is true of war and war's alarm, but oh, that I were young again and held her in my arms. That's a good one. T.S. Eliot's pretty solid. But let's see what all this mischief is about. Oh, shit. And there I will keep you forever, yes, forever and a day. So the walls shall crumble to ruin and molder in dust away. So it looks like we're finally going to get into this whole thing with what happened to Alfred. I've been wondering if they were going to swerve this, but it looks like they're actually pulling the trigger. Oh, Master Bruce, I remember reciting that poem to your father when he found out Martha was with child. Perhaps that is why it comes to me now. Alfred! Or perhaps it is because it always reminds me of the best of times. Reminds me in words that I sadly lack the skill to conjure or wield. No, you and I, Master Bruce, the boy and the butler. It does not seem so long ago. Alfred! My, the games we played. Cops and robbers was your favorite, and surprisingly, in retrospect, you preferred to take on the role of robber. One moment I might be casually dusting in the foyer, and the next I'd have a sharp stick shoved in my back, a small voice telling me to put my hands above my head. It was all over if I did not immediately surrender. Now, I have never been one for surrender, as you well know, and so, calling on training from my time in Her Majesty's service, I would turn and disarm you. But you were a slippery chap. I never could quite catch you, and off you'd go as fast as can be. Oh, we would run and chase through every room in the mansion, shouting at one another, "Stop! I will never stop. Neither will I," screaming and laughing, going on for hours. We were not ready for the end. People outside of the family often commented that you were a sullen child. This, of course, was a complete mischaracterization. You were not sullen, you were cautious, like your mother. And caution is an attribute to be admired in one so young. It shows an understanding of the myriad possibilities contained in the world unknown. However, when you were at home, when you were safe, another side of you emerged, one unseen by the silly gossips of Gotham, trying to guess at the personality of their new prince. A side known only to your mother and your father, and to me. So I'm guessing this is some like last will and testament stuff here. Is this Jordi Belair on colors, by the way? Yep. The third panel in particular was a giveaway there. Oh man, this is a nice touch. With the cowl. Wowzers. There was a joy to you, Master Bruce. You smiled as no other child had. You laughed as no other child could. You embraced the curiosities of life with exuberance and poise. I remember your first steps, how you fell into my arms. I remember your giggle, your embrace, the surprising force of it. I feel it now. I cherish the feeling. And as you grew, you were still that boy, still toddling forward, holding your arms out, smiling. Sir, I remember your smile. When your parents passed, I feared you had lost that joy forever. Their love was so incredibly vital to have it ripped from you. I do not hesitate to say I feared for you, Master Bruce. I feared indeed that, though you were young, you might take your own life. I have never told you this before, but in those days after the tragedy, I kept a close watch on you. Whatever your demons, I would not allow harm to come to you, ever. And so I was there, observing from the shadows as you took a candle from your room, as you brought it to Thomas and Martha's bed, as you came to your knees and made your vow, and I swear by the spirits of my parents to avenge their deaths by spending the rest of my life warring on criminals. So I guess I'm trying to figure out where this is going, right? Because if you want Batman to do stuff, I think it's been pretty conclusively demonstrated that putting him through extreme trauma is maybe not the best solution. Since the last time they did that, it turned him into Batman. So, I mean, by killing Alfred, aren't you basically running the risk of making him into like double Batman? Like, that seems like a bad idea. And I also 100% don't buy that Flashpoint Batman would do that. And this also really doesn't make any sense in the context of this whole story having been about Bane so far. To swerve like that is very strange to me. That vow saved you. It allowed you to transform your pain into hope. Hope for a better world, not just for yourself, but for any who were of need. Bricked up door. It gave you purpose. And as such, I encouraged you as you went forward with your mission. I aided you as well as I could. Not perfectly and not always without objection, but to the best of my abilities, and hopefully with a dash of honor and perhaps a hint of grace. I saw you flower and thrive. I saw you put on a bat costume with pointed ears and a dark cape, which does not become most people, but certainly became you. I saw you fight the worst of men. I saw you laid low. I saw you rise again, my little boy who lost everything. I saw you save the world. The removal of the cowl, I think, also has the effect of making him seem more vulnerable here. Like seeing your dad without his beard. That sort of thing that you always knew was there and knew was a possibility, but still is a little unsettling when it happens. And throughout it all, I sought one thing. Throughout your travails and triumphs, as I sewed your wounds and endured the worry of your chosen profession, as I stood by you and with you, I never wavered in my support. I sought merely to see your smile again. Ah. Ah. I pursued this as relentlessly as you pursued your war. In that way, Master Bruce, perhaps I learned from you that one may put an ideal above all else, that one may sacrifice every given moment for that one true hope. And after all that time, I saw it again. You smiled that day on the roof as we waited for her. There you were in your suit and tie, and for the first time since that room, since that candle, I was not looking at the Batman. I was not even looking at the child I once knew. You were so handsome. You were the man I always knew you'd become. Which brings us to today. To Thomas holding our city. You with the brilliant plan to take it back. The only obstacle between yourself and victory and peace being me. I've just signaled to you that I have run. Oh, okay. That's. I was wondering when they were gonna pull a swerve. There's the swerve. That I am safe. That you might execute your plan. You believed me. I am, if not much else, a talented actor. And soon you will come. But I am not safe. I, unfortunately, could not find a way to run. I expect now that Thomas will kill me. And so you must ask, why the lie? The answer is as you might suspect. I am again putting my ideal above my current need. I choose not to be an instrument of your downfall, but to be a cause of your salvation. I will die here. I choose to die here. There is such joy in you, Master Bruce. I know who you can become. I have seen it. And no matter the consequences, I will not allow anyone to break you. I will not be there, but there is a day coming when you shall smile again. You asked me once, as you fell from the sky, would this be a good death? Would your parents be proud? At the time, I gave you the answer you needed. As I did today, I lied. But now, please forgive a man at his end a touch of truth. There are no good deaths, not for parents, not for children. But there are good lives, and you, my son, are living one. Your parents would be so very proud of you. What is more, Master Bruce, I am very proud of you. The words are gone, or at least I have none. I suppose I should leave it to Longfellow. There is a reaper whose name is Death, and with his sickle keen he reaps the bearded grain a breath, and the flowers that grow between. Shall I have naught that is fair, saith he, have naught but the bearded grain? Though the breath of these flowers is sweet to me, I shall give them all back again. He gazed at the flowers with tearful eyes, he kissed their drooping leaves. It was for the Lord of Paradise he bound them in his sheaves. My lord has need of these flowerets gay, and the reaper said and smiled, Dear tokens of the earth are they, where he was once a child. They shall all bloom in fields of light, transplanted by my care, and saints upon their garments white these sacred blossoms wear. And the mother gave, in tears and pain, the flowers she most did love. She knew she should find them all again in the fields of light above. Though not in cruelty, not in wrath, the reaper came that day, was an angel visited the green earth, and took the flowers away. Goodbye, Master Bruce, and please always remember, wherever you are, whatever terror you confront, you are forever loved. And the mask comes off. He says you're ready. You heard. You killed him. Is that enough? Are you finally finished with this Batman obsession? I have your family, your city, your woman. Is that enough? Will you finally stop? Is it done? It's never done. There is no progress. Another year, another year. Yesterday becomes today as quickly as today becomes yesterday. You will never stop, and neither will I. One more time, Father. For Alfred. Yeah. So, my feelings on this are, I think, my feelings on the Tom King thing that I've been feeling for a while, which is that I think he is capable of writing very good dialogue, although he doesn't always bother. I think he is capable of coming up with really clever twists, although he doesn't always seem to manage to make them fit into the larger story that he's putting together. And I think that he is a very, very talented writer in terms of psychology, but on a limited scope. I think if you sort of zoom out and look at the story that he's been telling on a larger scale over these 83 or so issues, a lot of this doesn't exactly hang together. And I just don't buy at all that Alfred would do this. Like, I don't believe that that's something that Alfred would do. Because I don't see, like, I just don't see the motivation there. But that said, the writing that he did in between the poems was, I thought, honestly, in some cases, kind of beautiful. But I think King has gotten to the point where he is actually, as strange as it sounds, really over relying on the poetry, which he has been doing for quite a while now. It just seems to be popping up more and more in the quotations and whatnot, and I, for one, am a little burned out on it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm also not really happy with the swerve where Flashpoint Batman is the, I don't know if he's the architect or the mastermind behind all of this, or whether he just saw an opportunity and seized on it. But I really am not convinced that this is the sort of thing that he would do. Although it looks like the next issue is going to be an explanation of why. So I guess maybe we just have to wait and see. But all in all, I'm not feeling it. Which I feel, I feel pretty bad about. I was really getting into this series for a while. Not at the start, oddly enough, but as it went on, I kind of started liking it more and more. But yeah, I don't know. But I think that's probably gonna do it for comics today. I am gonna need to take a little bit of a break to do some stuff. But when we come back, oh, that triggered late. When we come back, I think we're gonna probably play a whole lot of Death Stranding, so watch out for that. But yeah, I will see you in probably, I don't know, let's make it a half hour or so I can get some food in me. That sounds reasonable. Right? Alrighty. Well, anyway, yeah, like I said, we'll be back in a bit. Later.